There we go. That's all I wanted to do. All right, guys. I'll go back to sharing my screens just so I can do our official welcome for this evening's class. Welcome, welcome, guys. You are here at our virtual hospitality and travel youth boot camp here with SOAR. We're very excited about today's session. I'll put it right here. On Tuesday, you guys are working with Chef Dre, and you got a chance to have your experience in the kitchen, using utensils, following a recipe. Today, we continue with that great hands-on experience. You guys will be working with Chef Michelle Johnson. She's here to introduce you guys to baking basics. So I hope that you were able to round up all your ingredients so that you can also, after the short presentation, get ready to do some hands-on activities. Just a brief reminder, I come on week after week just to remind you guys of how important it is, some of the student engagement expectations that we have here at SOAR. Number one, your attendance is important. And I say it, and I know I'm speaking to the choir because you guys show up here every week, and we truly do appreciate it. We ask that while you guys are here, especially with these hands-on sessions, we ask if you can keep your cameras on. That way, Chef can see you guys and offer her feedback, and making sure everyone is safe, right? And doing things according to the recipe and all of the things to keep everyone safe and happy. Please, we welcome engagement. If you have questions, feel free to ask. You can drop them in the chat. You can unmute. Definitely don't feel like you can't stop us whenever you need to, so that you can go ahead and ask your questions, and continue just to step outside of your comfort zone. We want everyone to walk away with something that allows them to feel some type of growth, right? Whether it's growth in public speaking, in the baking that you'll be doing this evening, or just overall knowledge. We really, really want to just encourage our scholars to go above and beyond their comfort zones. With that being said, I stop sharing. Are there any questions for this evening that I can help you guys with before I hand it over to Chef Michelle? Has everyone completed the quiz for this session? Yes? No? All right, I dropped the link in the chat. Just go ahead. It's very short. I believe it's like 5 questions. Thank you, Javis. I believe it's like 5 questions. Go ahead and knock that out. And from here, I'm going to pass it over to Chef Michelle. Welcome and thank you, Chef Michelle, for taking the time for working with our scholars. We are really excited about your session this evening, and I will hand it over to you.
Hi guys, how are you doing? Hi, how y'all doing today? I am Chef Michelle. One thing, Chastity, I thought you guys had the slides for me. Do I need to try to pull them up from the drive because he asked me to send them?
I did see them. Let me see if I can pull them up, and then I can display your slides while you are introing and doing that great stuff. Let me go right now and look.
Right. Okay, guys. So first things first, my name is Chef Michelle. I am a pastry arts, recent pastry arts degree major. I just graduated May of 2024. Yay! But I started in 2017, I believe. 2017 I started, but you know, I have 3 kids, a husband. So, you know, you got to it's kind of like expanded. So 2 years turned into 5, I think. So at any rate, I'm happy to be here today to talk to you guys about baking basics. So I want you guys to do me a favor, if you can, turn your oven on for me to 375. Anybody have the oven on already? I just need you to preheat it for me. And if you've already measured out what you needed to do, I need you to melt your butter. That's important because it can't be too hot. Did you measure out the butter yet? You know how much butter you need? Okay, then don't do that yet. All right. Do you know how to separate? I'm watching her open the egg. Megan, do you know how to separate? Okay, she knows how to separate. Okay. All right. So have anybody ever baked before? Yeah, you've baked before. Okay. So I have a couple of questions for you today. So what, in your opinion, are, I want three answers, but I want each one to answer one. What is the most important thing in baking that you believe? And y'all can take yourself off mute because I want y'all to talk a little bit.
I think it's precision because it takes like I believe baking is a science, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
it like you can't just do it like willy nilly. Like you have to have like a standard like basic recipe you should at least follow the first time you're trying to make something new at least. So yeah, it's number one.
Yes, I like that. Yes, precision is key.
Yeah.
Yes. So, who else can give me another thing? Can you put yourself back on mute? Okay. Who else can tell me that what is one that you think is most important in baking?
I think the most important part of baking is heat, because if it's not the right temperature or something, like it completely ruins the recipe entirely, and
Hmm.
it messes up. Yeah, it was- yeah.
Heat. Gotcha. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. Okay. Anybody else? We just talking. We just talking. You don't have to get the answer right, but I just want to know your thoughts. What do you think is the most important thing when you decide, I'm going to bake a cookie, I'm going to bake a cake?
I think the one of the most important things in baking is like to know like what ingredients you have to use like in a certain recipe.
Mm-hmm. What ingredients? Okay. How much ingredients? Right. So let me give you a few things. One of the most important things, I think I like what you all said, but I like Megan when she said, make sure you have a recipe. The one thing about baking that you have to do that you don't really have to do in culinary too much is you have to make sure that you measure. You have to make sure that you have a recipe that you follow. Sometimes we get excited about a recipe and we may want to add a little this and that. And with baking, you cannot do that because I know. So here's a funny story. And this is just an icebreaker, and then we'll get to the slides. So when I first started culinary school, I used to make, before I started, I was making all these chocolate chip cookies, and all my chocolate chip cookies came out so great. Well, I decided when we were having the recipe for the chocolate chip cookies that I wanted to add something different to their recipe because I didn't like it. Little did I know that I needed to follow their recipe to a T. So you know what I got in that nice big old sheet pan? One flat big cookie. It was like it all spread out, and it was just I was so embarrassed because I had made chocolate chip cookies so many times, and the fact that it messed up in front of my teacher, and this was actually a test that she had given us, it was crazy to me how sometimes even in baking, it doesn't matter how long you bake, if you decide that you want to do something different, you can mess up just like that. So one of the other things that which I think we're going to get to the slides right now. So we're on baking basics, right? And so can we go to the next slide?
These are your slides, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So these are just basics. This is not like oh, you can go. So fun fact, I love baking cookies and bread. Bread and cookies are like my thing. I love doing that. I love bread. I love, if we had more time, I would show you one of my favorite recipes in making bread. Maybe one day we can do that, but we don't have that much time. So this is why I gave y'all it's a very good cookie that I gave to y'all today. And it is a very short recipe. But I love making cookies and bread. Like those are my jams. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide. I'm sorry.
You can't see it anymore?
No, I just see introduction.
Okay.
I mean, I can't, the next slide, I'm sorry.
Let me get out of full mode sharing. I think that's why. Let me bring you back here.
Okay.
Yes, purpose of the class?
So the purpose of the class is to provide an overview of baking basics. And we're going to bake almond twill cookies. It is a very thin cookie that it is delicious. I did not know that I would get so many raves about this cookie. I learned it in my last advanced baking class, and man, you make and people just eat them, and they're so thin. If you're not careful, you can eat a whole dozen within like 15 minutes because they are that good. I'm telling you, I'm not bragging. I'm telling you, they're that good. All right, and the next slide. So the essential ingredients for baking. First of all, what I want you to understand that one of the most important things in baking, I think the number one thing is mise en place. I know that Chef talked to you guys about that, about everything being in its place. So the one thing that I want y'all to remember, that when you are about to bake, instead of like going and grabbing for ingredients, you know what I'm saying, and just having flour and then the sugar in a bag and trying to pour it out, it's very important for you to have your tools ready, have your sugar ready, have it all separate, and then make sure that you have your spatula and you have your parchment paper. Make sure everything is in its place so that when you go to make this, because it's called prepping really, when you go to make whatever it is that you're going to make, you want to make sure that you ain't scrambling for things. Because what if you got to make something in an hour? It don't take long to make these cookies, but it takes a little while to prep them, especially if you're weighing them. The other thing that I want to tell you is that I don't know if you guys have a scale, but it is very important. I don't think anybody said this, but measuring. Hey, look at her. All right, girl. All right. Now listen, since you got a scale, I want to know, what is the most accurate measurements? This for Megan. What is the most accurate measurements? Is it cups? Is it grams? What is it? Milliliters? What is it?
Grams. When it comes to like powder, I say grams. When it's like liquid, then milliliters.
Yes, very good. That is correct. So yes, make sure that you measure correctly. Make sure you have everything in its place. Okay, so I want to give you some quick things about flour. Flour provides structure in pastry. Most of the time in cookies, depending on the cookie, like if you're doing a brownie, it requires like bread flour. And I know if you read over the recipe, this recipe requires bread flour. But if you look at the grams or the measurements, it's not that much flour inside of the or for the cookie that we are going to make. We're going to add, of course, we need sugar. Sugar adds not only sweetness, but it adds flavor, it adds color. It gives it a good, you know, if you put too much sugar, you'll know. You ever make something and then it comes out darker than what you would like it? That's probably because you put more sugar than the recipe calls for. Eggs thickens, it emulsifies, it builds volumes, it stabilizes and provides colors and flavor. So an egg can add color and flavor because of the yellow. With this recipe, we are only using the egg white. So make sure that you measure those egg whites properly. Butter and oil. This recipe, we're using melted butter. We are not using oil, but I've learned that you can bake with avocado oil, olive oil. If you don't want to use vegetable oil, you can pretty much, if you understand the ingredients and how they work, like they butter and oil add flavor. Once again, richness, tenderness, and it adds the structures to the cookies, cakes, pies, and pastries. Leavening agents. That's like baking powder, baking soda, cream of tartar, you know, things like that to give the cookie either a spread or a rise or both. You want the cookie to either spread and rise, or you want the cookie to just spread and not rise, depending on what you're going for. If you want a flat cookie like this recipe, you don't have to use baking powder or baking soda. We're just stabilizing it with the egg whites because, like I said, it is a very thin cookie. I want you guys to look at this video about, I don't know if this can play.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I know. I just realized it wasn't.
All right, so remember for the video, Chef Michelle, when you're sharing your screen, you got to hit the share sound that's in the corner.
So she's doing
Right, I'm sharing. So I'm sorry, say it again, Jeff.
Okay. Did you click share sound in the left corner of the screen when you hit share screen?
I did not. Here we go.
And then you can hit play. You should have sound.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I need to enter a password. Hold on.
Yeah, they have us doing a lot because I was trying to So I hope you guys are getting your ingredients together. I don't want y'all to move ahead. I want us to kind of make this together. I want to see what you're doing, and I'm not going to be long. I promise you. I'm not going to talk your head off because I'm excited about these cookies too. Oh, so I didn't add salt. Salt is important as well. Salt is important in baking. I don't know why I didn't add that. Y'all forgive me. But this recipe doesn't require salt.
Let's try this again.
And they are actually used in. Hi class, welcome back to
Can you hear it
Baking
now?
School. We are currently on lesson 10 of the Baking Fundamentals course. Today we are talking all about the function of eggs in baking. Now, as you know, eggs are an essential ingredient used in 3 different forms. So sometimes we use the entire egg in our baked good, sometimes just the egg yolk, and sometimes the egg white. And each of these forms has different functions, so let's dive into each. Okay, so let's talk about the anatomy of an egg. When you crack an egg open, you'll notice a few different parts. You'll notice that the outer part of the egg, which is the egg white, is pretty clear in color, and this contains mostly water and some protein. Now, the middle of the egg has the egg yolk in it, and that is pretty deep yellow in color, and this is mostly fat along with some water and also some protein. Now, you'll also notice some little white strands. Those are called the chalaza, and that is actually just holding the egg yolk in the middle of the egg. Now, for most baking purposes, this is completely fine to leave in, but some bakers do prefer to remove it for things like custard because it just ensures that you'll have a really smooth texture. The best way to crack an egg is on a flat surface like your countertop, which will give you a nice clean break. You never want to crack your egg on the edge of a bowl, which is going to push shards of the eggshell right up into the egg. Okay, so let's talk about egg sizing. Now, most standard baking recipes are going to call for large eggs, but you will notice that there are other sizes sold in your grocery store, and if you do buy farm fresh eggs, likely your carton is going to vary in sizes. Now, if you're just using 1 or 2 eggs in a recipe, using a medium egg in place of a large egg is probably not going to make that much of a difference. But this does start to matter more when your recipe does call for a large amount of eggs. You can see here when we've cracked a medium egg, a large egg, and an extra large egg that they do vary in volume somewhat. So if there is a large number of eggs in your recipe, this does start to matter more. So I've actually included a chart on the written part of this lesson for you to see what the conversions are for substituting eggs in recipes that do call for a large amount. Now, I should also note that when recipes do include the weight measurement for eggs, that is usually a pretty good indicator that it does matter for the egg measurements to be accurate. So I would definitely suggest weighing your eggs when a recipe does call for it. So as we think about the function of a whole egg in baking, it helps to think about all of the things that make up an egg. So an egg is made up of a lot of water along with some fat and protein. Now, the protein is going to begin coagulating as it heats up, and this adds a lot of strength and structure to our baked good. Now, the fat is going to add moisture and richness and some flavor, and the water is going to contribute to a lot of leavening. Now, if you remember from our lesson on leavening, steam is a great source of leavening, And as the water evaporates off, it's going to turn into steam, which is going to lift and rise our baked goods. Now I'm actually going to show you this video of a Dutch baby rising in the oven one more time. And this batter contains a lot of eggs and no other leavening agents. So everything that is making this Dutch baby rise is just the water evaporating off the eggs. So when you think about egg whites on their own in baking, they are usually called for when you are going to whip them into an egg white foam. Now, egg whites have the unique ability to hold a large amount of air after they are whipped. They can actually be whipped to 8 times their size. So an egg white foam is used really frequently to leaven cakes. It's also the thing that makes soufflés rise. And then egg white foam can actually be used all on its own as meringue. So egg yolks are part of the egg that contain all of the fat. So they are used in baking to add a lot of flavor, richness, and moisture. Now, egg yolks are also an excellent emulsifier, so they really help to bind and thicken. Egg yolks are a really key component in custards like pastry cream, and you'll see as you heat up a pastry cream, it really begins to thicken. And this is because the egg yolks are gelling as they are heated, which really helps thicken up the mixture. Now, I should also mention that egg yolks are really going to prevent egg whites from whipping to an egg foam. So you really need to be careful when separating the two.
The best way to separate an egg is to use your clean hands. Crack your egg into a bowl and then pick it up, allowing the white to drop back down into the bowl, leaving the yolk in your hand. Place the yolk into one bowl and the whites into a
Can we
separate.
pause that? Okay, so you guys see, I think Megan already started separating her eggs, but how do you say your name? Jarvis or Javis? I said it wrong. I'm sorry.
Javis.
Yes.
Javis. Javis, did you separate your eggs already? There's no yolk in there. Okay. All right. I was just I was hoping that you guys didn't separate it, but it's fine. So you saw the way that she separated the egg? Did you feel like all of that stuff sliding through your fingers? Did y'all feel uncomfortable with that? It felt kind of gooey. I heard they have a different way to do it where you could put it in a water bottle, and then the yolk falls in, and then the egg white just come out. But whatever, I learned with my hands. I just wanted to know if you guys experienced that little thing. So the basic thing that I was trying to get was for you to understand the functions of an egg, and you see that eggs make baked goods do so many different things. With this particular recipe, we're not going to whip it to make it into like a foam. We're just going to stir it. We're doing a very light, very not too much manipulating in the stirring. We just want to combine it where it's nice, and it is going to be liquidy, guys. Are y'all listening? It's not going to be a cookie. You know how you get the cookie dough and it's a little stiff? It's not going to be that. It's going to be a different type of cookie. So if it is more wet than what you're used to, that is okay, because that's what this cookie is going to do, okay? Can we go to the next slide? Let me hurry up. I ain't gonna have time. Oh, keep going. I already did that. Measuring accurately, room temperature, yes. Where we at? Okay, so you guys have all of your parchment paper, cookie trays, mixing bowls, whisk, measuring cups and spoons. Make sure that you have your parchment paper on your cookie tray, because this is only going to take 3 minutes to mix, and then we're gonna look at how we're going to pat this thing down so that we can get a nice cookie. Can you go to the next? I probably already talked this. Okay, characteristics of a cookie. So there's crispiness. Cookies are crisp when they are low in moisture, high in sugar and fat content. Baking long enough to bake in the moisture. So if you want your cookie to be crispy, then you would not add a lot of moisture. You wouldn't add a lot of milk. You wouldn't add milk. You wouldn't add anything that would make it have have it more moisturized. You want the cookie to be crispy because you may want to hear that crunch. You may want to hear, some people don't like soft cookies, but some people do. And then with the soft cookies, you have to have a high proportion of liquid in the mix, low sugar and fat. Under baking sometimes can cause the cookie to be rather soft. I don't really like under baking, to be honest with you, because I get kind of sick when it's underbaked because that means the egg is not all the way, to me, it's not all the way done. And then I kind of like taste it. So you can also add more proportion of liquid would be better to me to make the cookie more softer. I don't know if you guys ever, I know you've probably tasted like Mrs. Fields. Mrs. Fields, she has very soft cookies, but they underbake their cookies a lot and I can't eat them. Anyway, chewiness, high sugar and liquid content, but low fat content, high proportion of eggs, strong flour or gluten developed during the mixing. So that makes the cookie more chewy. Some people like to chew. Some people want to feel that, the chocolate chip between their two teeth. It all depends on what you like. And then the spread, high sugar content causes the cookie to spread. Remember when I was telling you about the chocolate chip cookie that I had in class? Well, that's what I did. I wanted a little more sugar than what they were saying. And of course my cookie spread, but it didn't spread in structure. It just went into one big cookie. So I had a flat chocolate chip fake brownie. It wasn't even real. So that's important as well, to know what kind of cookie you want, how big, how small, how much you want it to spread. So you have these characteristics of a cookie so you can understand how you actually want your cookie to feel in your mouth, how you want people, if you know a person likes a chewy cookie, you make sure you pay attention to how you're going to bake this cookie so that you can give yourself or the people that you're baking for the type of cookie that they are asking for. Next slide. Okay, so this is a one-stage mix and all ingredients are mixed at once. After you scale it, you mix it all together, and that's the method we're using. We have the creaming method, but that was for like the chocolate chip cookie. But this one is, we're putting the flour and the almonds are going together, and the melted butter and the egg whites are going together, and then we're going to put it together in a stir. So that's just one big mix, and we're just going to make sure that we mix it to combine it, but not mix it where it's over mixed, because we don't want the cookie to be full of gluten. Next slide. Oh, you can go to the next one. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. All right, so did you measure out your butter? Did everybody measure out their butter? No? Okay, so I need you to measure out your butter. For the butter, you need 45 grams. For Jake and Megan, y'all need 90 grams of butter, because you remember y'all are doubling your recipe. So you need 45 grams. You have a scale, Javi?
I think so, but I don't have it with me.
Okay, so do you have a measuring cup? Okay, so if you have a measuring cup, I believe this is, for your 45 grams, it is 1/8 of a cup. You're like, oh my God, I know. And that's not a lot. It's more egg whites than anything. And the reason why I want you to get the butter, because you have to melt it, but the butter should not be hot, because we don't want cooked eggs. We want a cookie. And if you melt the butter and you put hot butter on the eggs, then you're going to have some egg whites and you're going to have that for dinner. And you don't have to keep it in the, if you're going to do it in the microwave, you can melt it in the microwave for about 15 seconds. If your microwave is hot, don't do more than that. The whole purpose is for this to be liquidy. Did you measure it?
I don't know like what kind of measuring cup I'm supposed to use.
Do you know what a measuring cup is? Okay. What does it say on your size? What does it say? What you have these? Can you see? Do you have one of these? This is a measuring cup.
I have a whole box.
Okay, it should say 1/8 on it. So on here, it should say 1/8. That's how you would know that you got the right one. So whatever the size is of the 1/8, fill that with the butter. Megan and Jake, did y'all melt y'all butter?
We are melting it right now.
Okay, don't make it too hot though.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't make it too hot because you don't want to have egg whites.
Yes, chef.
We want a cookie,
Not a souffle.
not a souffle. Did y'all get the almonds?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right, wait.
The almonds are important. Yes. Did you measure out your almonds?
Not yet. I'm doing it right now.
Yes. That's okay. It's no rush.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you have time to enjoy your cookie.
Yes, I apologize. I was making dinner right before the class.
Do not apologize. It's okay. We're making cookies. It's nothing.
Yes.
You're gonna be excited because the cookie's gonna be good.
Yes, I will.
So, yes. Yes. So let's measure out. Remember, you guys are doing double recipe because it's for both of you. So what that means is, I'm sure you know, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I am teaching it. The sugar is 240 grams, so that means you need 480 grams of sugar. Okay. And if you're doing the almonds, you need 540 grams just for you guys because you're doubling your recipe. 90 grams of bread flour, 270 grams of egg whites, and another 90 grams of melted butter. Shania, do you like baking?
Yes.
What is one of your favorite types of things that you like to bake?
I've only baked one thing, and it was peanut butter cookies.
Oh, did you like it?
Yes. It was a very simple recipe and not too many ingredients.
Right, right. Well, yeah, peanut butter cookies are pretty good.
Yep. I wish I can have some now.
Peanut butter cookies. I just made, I like to mix my cookies. So I just made a chocolate chip peanut butter cookie. And that was pretty good.
Yeah, that
It was
sounds
good.
good to me. I wish I could have some too.
I know, and we making these cookies, and I'm sorry, but hopefully you can look at the recipe and make them at home. How you guys doing? Javis, do you need help?
I think our scale is broken.
I mean, you did smack it.
Well,
It keeps moving. Does it do that thing where the numbers are moving fast and then it stops and then moves fast again?
Yeah.
You might need new batteries.
Oh,
So
new
if you have to,
batteries?
yeah, you might need batteries. So if you have to measure in cups, if you have cups,
Yes.
240 grams is, I believe, 2 cups. So
Okay.
remember, you're going to
So much easier.
It is. Yes, it is.
We were like individually scooping and then putting it on the ground. Okay.
So, but remember, you're doubling that. So you would need 4 cups. But once again, you have to make sure that you're measuring properly because if you're going to do it in cups, then you have to look at your blanched almonds, and that's 540 grams of almonds. When they first introduced this to me, I was losing my mind. making sure that I measure properly. I used about, because it was the egg whites, I believe I used about 8 eggs, and I only did 1.5 recipe. I'm sorry, honey. I know. Hopefully you can get this recipe and do it at home. It's an easy recipe.
Sounds like it's fun.
It is. It's going to be such a good cookie. How you doing, Javis?
There's no 1/8 measuring cup.
Oh, okay. So, and you don't have a scale, right?
I might.
If you have a scale, then you would measure 45 grams. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, get the because you want to make sure that you're measuring properly. I don't know if you noticed, but this has a nice amount of sugar too. This cookie. Excuse me. So I hope you guys put your ovens on to 375 because you want your oven to be cooked. And if you have a rolling pin or this right here, spatula, we're gonna do something fun with the spatula. Okay, so you should only have 5 ingredients. 1, 2, 3, 5. How you guys doing? If you don't have enough, that's good. But if you don't have enough, you could always split the recipe in half. If you don't have enough, don't be stressed if you don't have to double it. I was only saying double so everybody could get a good share of cookies. But if you don't have enough, you can always split it in half. How you doing, Miss Jordan?
We don't have a scale.
Okay. So I'm going to inquire from Chef Dre. She doesn't have a scale and she doesn't have a measuring cup. That's 1/8. What do you have? Do you have a 1/4? Guessing.
Do we have any measuring cups or measuring spoons at all?
I have a whole box.
But there's no 1/8 cup?
No, there's one cup, 1/2, 1/3, 1/4. I have little measuring spoons, like the teaspoons and tablespoons.
Okay, do you have, because this is for the liquid, do you have a measuring, one of those measuring cups that are like glass? Do you have that? You would have to do 1.5 ounces. Like, does it have the numbers on there? Because you would have to measure it 1.5 ounces. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of butter, and it's not a lot of bread flour. But you got to make sure that it's accurate so that you can get the cookie that you desire. How y'all doing? All right, guys, I'm going to be moving a little bit. I'm putting my bread flour into my almonds. How you doing, Megan? You okay?
Michelle, sorry, my internet coverage is a little shaky. Did you get the question you needed answered for the 1A?
Yes. So I told her to yes, thank you. I told her to get a cup, like one of those glass measuring cups, and kind of like do a 1.5 ounce measuring to see if she can get a cup that does that. Thank you.
All right, sounds good.
Do I need a big one?
So get one that says, as long as you can measure 1.5 ounces, it's fine, because that would be for the melted butter. So you kind of gonna have to like, so if you ever look on the butter, if you ever look on the Miss Jordan,
I can hear you.
if you look on this, if you look on the stick, it gives you measurements on here. So 4 tablespoons would be 1/4 cup. And then we're trying to get to 1/8, which would be right here. You see where my finger is? You see where my finger is? Right here. It would be right
No,
here.
it's zoomed in.
Can you see it now? This right here, where I'm tapping. I'm right here tapping. Yeah, but put your finger where you can measure. Let me see if I can get it in tablespoons so that you can, because that would probably be better for you. Guys, you can mix your almonds, your sugar, and your flour together if you can.
Okay.
Almond, sugar, and flour.
So actually, the almonds that we had were expired. So now Jake is cutting up some almonds right now. Yeah. You can just do it do it long way. Yeah. That should be okay. So I think our cookies will end up a little bit more crunchy than they should be, but that should be okay.
That's okay, as long as you get a cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So since we're doing so, Miss Jordan, with the butter, if we're going to do the tablespoon, we would need 3.5 tablespoons of melted butter. So if you look on here, you'll see that they measure in tablespoons. You see where the lines are? It should say tablespoons on there. So you would have to do, can you see this? Is this far enough? Wait, is this far enough back? Can you see? 3.5? Okay. Now melt it, and don't let it melt too much. Don't make it too hot, I should say. Kind of do 15 seconds. So Megan, y'all can put the flour and the sugar and whatever almonds you have. That
Okay,
goes
we will.
together.
Yeah. Thank you.
And like I said, it's not like a heavy mix. If you guys can see, can you guys see this? It's not a heavy mix. It's not supposed to be like together until we add our butter and our egg whites. All right, I'm gonna start mixing up my stuff. I'm putting my egg whites and my butter into the almonds and the flour.
Chef, do you want me to keep your slides up or you want me to stop sharing so that?
I'm sorry, you can stop sharing. I'm sorry.
Okay, I will just make your video bigger. Let me stop.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No.
So you guys can see, this is just me turning it in. If you can see the mixture, like I said, it's not a mixture that's well put together. The one thing you guys want to make sure of is that all the sugar and flour is covered with the liquid of the egg whites and the butter. Please make sure you mix it. You don't have to be aggressive, but just simply do that. Stir it. Because every almond needs to be wet. And this is what it should look like. Oh, I'll be getting confused how to put this in. It should look like this.
What do I need to do now?
Okay, so did you melt the butter? I need to see you. Did you melt the butter? Yes. Okay, is it really hot or?
It's like warm.
Okay, so take your almonds, your sugar, and your flour and mix it. And like I said, do you have a spatula? Okay, mix it with the spatula. Yep. Now remember, this is not an aggressive cookie. You don't have to be aggressive. Just turn it in so that everything. How much what, babe?
How much sugar and flour and almonds do I need?
Oh, you didn't measure. I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay, so for your sugar, you need 2 cups of sugar. You have cup. I know, honey. So you need 2 cups of sugar. Make sure the sugar is all in the cups. But sometimes you can pick up sugar in a measuring cup, and man, oh man, you can have a hole in it where there is no sugar in there. And then there you have it. You don't have an accurate measurement.
Okay, I have 2 cups of sugar.
Okay, and you're going to need 2 1/4 of the almonds. So you need 2 cups and 1/4 of the almonds. You guys got your ovens on, right? $375.
Okay.
You got it?
I have my almonds.
You have your almonds. Okay, your bread flour, you're going to need the same amount that you needed for your butter. but you're going to need that in a cup. So you say you have measuring spoons? So you need 3 tablespoons.
Okay.
And a quarter of a spoon of flour. So you need 3 full tablespoons and a quarter of a spoon of flour. Yeah, maybe. Do you have a 1/8 spoon? You should have a 1/8 spoon. Right in your hand. In your measuring spoons, it should be 1/8 in there. It should be. After 1/4, you should see a 1/8 spoon.
It stops at 1/4.
Where'd you get those things from? Okay. So
I have another pair of this.
It's okay. So do 3 tablespoons.
2.
Make sure that flour is all inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then get a little more. So you may need get 1/4 of the spoon for the flour. Miss Jordan?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was reading.
It's a 1/4. Get 1/4 of the spoon for some more flour. How you guys doing, Megan and Jake? Okay. Do you have your almonds? Did you chop up the almonds?
We did, but it's like more chunky than sliced. But it should be okay. Oh well.
Did you put the butter and the egg whites together?
Okay. Wait, how much
And
butter do you need?
Butter? So
Butter
for the
is
butter, you need 90 grams.
Okay.
Let's do grams for that. Y'all are doing a double recipe, right?
We don't have enough sugar for the double, so we just did 1.
Oh, so you're doing what? So then you do 45 grams. You'll do 45 grams of butter, okay?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's solidified already.
Make sure what y'all can do so that you can see how one of your cookies come out. Do you have 2 cookie trays?
We do.
Okay, and then y'all just let him do his part. And I hope you guys have your scooper or a tablespoon. Yep, work it out. And you're gonna need a fork.
Yeah.
Both of you will need a fork.
Whoa, chill.
How you doing, Miss Jordan?
Okay, I mixed it up.
Which one did you mix? All of it?
The flour, the sugar, and the almonds.
Okay, so now let's mix up the egg whites and the butter.
How many eggs was I supposed to use?
For the egg whites, you need 4.5 ounces. You're going to have to measure with your liquid measuring cup. Were you looking at the thing when we were talking about separating the egg with the egg white? Because you're not using a full egg, you're using just the egg white.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you need 4.5 ounces of egg white.
Okay.
So if you know cups, it's 8 ounces in a cup. So we're just doing 4.5. You're gonna need a little more egg whites than that. How you doing, Megan? Okay. Don't mix it like that, Mama. So Megan, so when you're stirring, this cookie don't require a whole lot. Stir like this, where you are turning, not like you are mixing cake. You're just turning. And just make sure all the almonds are covered in the liquid, because you don't want a dry cookie. I gotta see if I can find my cookies that I made when I first made these cookies. How you doing, Miss Jordan?
I'm almost done.
Yes, just folding. Yes, just folding. Yep. So that it does, you don't want the cookie to be too tough. We want the cookie to be soft, right?
Mhm.
Yep. It's a very good crispy cookie too. When I say soft, I mean you don't want it to produce a lot of gluten, because remember, we're using bread flour, and bread flour is already high in gluten. Okay.
Does that look okay?
Ah, that
Yeah,
looks
can put it a
good.
little closer.
Oh, that looks
Yes.
good, actually.
Is everything
Yeah.
covered in the liquid?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's wait for Miss Jordan, and we're gonna lay the cookies together. But I need you to get a fork and a little bit of water. So
Okay.
I have this. I have my fork and my water. You don't need a lot, just a
tad bit.
Yep, just a little bit. Yep, and you need a fork. So you're both gonna need water, and you're both gonna need a fork.
Okay.
For your tray. Yep. How you doing, Miss Jordan?
I'm almost done.
No, I'm not rushing you. I just want to know how you're doing. How you feel?
I'm doing good.
You focused. It's okay, girl.
Okay.
You're gonna have some cookies.
Okay.
One thing about baking, you gotta be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. I had this chair here because I'm sitting down.
In baking?
Okay.
Okay.
My eggs.
So you have your eggs. So mix your egg whites and your butter, the liquid, mix it together. So, Miss Jordan, turn it. Just mix it together. Just the liquid right now. Yep. Make sure you get all that stuff out of it. Use a spatula. Do you have a spatula?
Another one?
Yeah. Or the same one. But just make sure you get all of that. You can get all of that out of there. You need every piece of that goodness. Yeah. I think my kids were more excited about these cookies than I was. All right. Almost there. And like I said, if you have a spatula, make sure you keep your spatula this end clean, because I want to show y'all something with the spatula when y'all are done making the cookies. So I'm going to leave how big you want your cookies. I wouldn't make them too big, but I'm going to leave how big, medium, small, medium, large you want them. What I would say is make sure when you're putting them on your tray that you can handle what you put down, because you have to flatten the cookie with your fork and water. So if you decide that you want this big old giant cookie, make sure you know that you're gonna have to flatten it out.
Do I put this in the flour?
Yes, ma'am. And like I was telling them, fold it into the dry ingredients, is what they call it. And make sure you get every piece of butter, egg white, all of it. Woo, 7:38. All right, I'm going to start putting my cookies down. Megan and Jake, y'all can start laying your cookies down. You know, take a little bit and put them down. And then I'm going to show you what I do with them. Make sure that you spread them out. Don't put them too close, okay? They are not going to spread like a normal cookie would. They're only going to do what you tell it to do when you lay it with the fork. Because remember, we don't have any leavening. We have no baking powder and we have no baking soda in here. All right, can you guys see what I did? So these are very spaced, okay? And I'm going to flatten them out with my fork. How you doing, Miss Jordan? Do you have your cookie tray?
Yes.
And your parchment paper, remember mise en place? Megan and Jake, you would take your fork in the water and you flatten the cookie. If you want it in a circle, when I first made these, I put them in a square and then I dipped them in chocolate because I'm greedy. But I'm just going to do simple and put it in a circular motion. Remember, they don't spread. So you have to spread them the way you want them to look with your fork and water. And don't forget to dip. Each time you're patting it, you need to dip it in water. And make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Can y'all see? Jeez. I think because I have it blurred in the back, I probably should take that off. Hold on. None. Okay. Okay. I think this is better. Okay. Because so you guys can see what I'm doing. I am flattening the cookie because it is a very thin cookie. This is the second one. There's another one that we had with the recipe and we were putting the cookies in a hole, but I didn't want to make y'all do all that. So that would have been a little more, complicated. So these, you just spreading it out with the water. The water helps it spread. You see what I'm doing? You ready, Miss Jordan?
My bag does not look like that.
What does it look like? Let me see. It's okay. It's okay. Remember my story.
It looks like clear. It looks like slime.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's supposed to. Let me see.
Look, wait.
Let me see. Push it. Turn it to. I need to see it. She said it looks like slime. Try to turn your camera around so I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I told y'all the story about my cookie fiasco. Well, it's supposed to look liquidy. Remember what I said? It's supposed to look liquidy. Let's not count ourselves out yet. So take a spoon. You have a cookie scooper or like a tablespoon.
Mm-hmm.
Take it and grab, scoop it and spread it out. Make sure you spread it to make it easier, put 3 cookies a row so that you can spread it with the water the way that you saw me doing, the way that I'm doing now with the water. These cookies, I made them for an event that I had, and they didn't stand a chance. I don't even know how many people had. Can you see?
Yes, I can
How,
see it.
you can see it. How are your measurements, Miss Jordan? How are your measurements? Do you think you measured properly?
I think so.
You think so? Okay. Let's see. You never know unless you see. So we know next time when you're doing something with bacon, you got to make sure you have a scale. Scales are better. It helps. It helps a lot,
But
actually.
it wasn't on the list that we needed, so I didn't know I would need one.
It wasn't on the list? I know it was on the, oh, maybe I didn't put it on the list. I'm sorry. Be sure. Be sure I didn't put it on the list.
It also said we needed a rolling pin. Are we going to use that?
Well, okay, so you remember with this where I was saying you could use this?
Oh.
So you can use a roller pin or you can use this.
Oh, because ours is like flat.
Oh, well, use the end. Oh, is that your spatula?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you can use your rolling pin. So the reason why I said rolling pin, because you can, when the cookies are done, you can wrap it around the rolling pin.
Oh.
To make it a circle. But I'm gonna put my cookies in so that you guys
think
can
we
see.
did it wrong too, because ours is just like, it really is really liquidy. Like, I don't think we need to push it down with the fork. It's already like spreading by itself.
Let me see.
Oh no.
No, it's not bad.
No.
Spread it, but flatten it. Yeah, no, it's fine. Flatten it really good. Yep. Keep flattening it. Don't count yourself out yet.
Okay.
Don't count yourself out yet.
Another pan.
Give yourself some time. And the other thing is, listen, y'all, remember when you was talking about heat? You need to know how fast your oven cooks. I would keep an eye on it. So I put mine on for 12 minutes. But I keep an eye on it. After 10, I start looking, okay, at the cookie because you. Let me see what you're doing, Miss Jordan. Let me see what you're doing. Come on, this is bacon basics. You don't have to be a professional baker. Yes, if I'm asked to, I do make for I have a gender reveal that I have to bake for. So most of my clients, if they want baked goods, they usually ask. So yeah, they've been trying to keep me pretty busy. But I don't like decorating.
I like the decorating part. It's where the creativity comes in.
You're right. And I really don't like it, but that is what we had to do in order to pass our class. We had to decorate a 3-tier cake. Yes, and we had to make a fondant, and I made a Lego guy with hair.
Ooh.
That was my creativity. Miss Jordan, let me see your cookies, because you may think you're doing it wrong and you may not be. Let me see. Don't be.
They're not.
Oh no, they're fine, baby. They're fine. Just make sure you take your fork with the water and flatten it out as thin as you can. They look great. These are they're not your conventional chocolate chip cookies. This is a cookie that you're shaping. Okay? It's not your conventional cookie. Just make sure it's really flat. Let me see yours, Megan. How you doing? Okay. Is that as flat as you could get them?
I didn't push them down yet. I'm still like portioning them out, and then when I'm done, I'm
Gotcha.
gonna flatten it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave you alone. This is supposed to be fun, guys. It's not supposed to be stressful. It's not supposed to be like, ah, like you're good. When I first made these, I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I thought I did them all wrong. And my chef was looking at me and eating the cookies. Took all kinds of pictures. So that was exciting. So, so tell me one thing, if any, that you learned today. One thing. You don't have to say 50 things. Just tell me one thing while you're putting your cookie down.
I'm not very good at baking.
Okay. Well, okay. You may need a little more work. Miss Jordan, name one thing you may have learned today.
That you need a scale whenever you want to measure things like more accurately.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good thing to learn. Okay, Megan, what about you?
I learned that my brother is not good at baking.
That's what you learned, really?
Yeah. Now I know why I do all the baking in the house.
Yes.
But yeah,
Hey, I found the box very good.
oh my god. If anything, probably how to use a scale more accurately for cooking. Because I've only really done it for school, like science class. But it's different than school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine looks better than yours.
And it takes patience, you guys. What about you, Shania? You learn anything?
I learned a lot more observing because I wish I could be hands-on, but I couldn't. But really, I just learned that practice makes perfect when you're doing any sort of job, including working in the food industry. So you need to have a lot of patience and also practice a lot because you might not be good at making something the first time, but if you keep making it again and again and again, then you can improve on your skills and hone it so that you can be really good at it.
Yes, ma'am. You said a mouthful. Patience. Making sure that you understand that it may not come out the way that you wanted the first time. Practice. So did you guys if you put it in the oven already, you need to put it on a timer, but you have to start at 10 minutes and see how it goes, but you need a timer. Practice. She said that is practice and patience, okay? Those are the two words that I grabbed from what Miss Shania said. Practice and patience. Give yourself a break. Baking is not the easiest thing, okay? It takes a lot of thought and you need to plan. But when you're done, it is delicious. So everybody got their cookies in the oven? Okay, so quick questions. And anybody can chime in. What is the purpose of butter?
It's like the fat, so it makes the cookies not as hard or crunchy. I guess.
Is that the purpose of it? What does butter do? What does butter do to a baked good?
It makes it airy, fluffy. I think color is
Color.
good.
Perfect. Coloring. That's exactly right. Yeah. All right. 1 point to Jake. At least he has a thought. Okay. So what else does butter add? It does
Butter
add color,
adds
flavor.
richness.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Next question. What does eggs do? Tell me, we watched the video. What does egg white do? What does the yellow do? What does a whole egg do? One word. Anybody can chime in.
The egg makes it like bond together or rise, like the egg makes it rise.
Yep, you said it right. You two good things bind together. It gives it structure. Yep.
The eggs add color and flavor, and
Yes,
also
ma'am.
emulsifies.
Yes. Okay. And what does sugar do?
Sugar adds sweetness.
What else? Sugar adds a few things.
Does it make it? Well, I don't think it makes it come together.
Sugar?
Is it like? Does it make it come together?
Sugar,
Or no?
it adds flavor. It adds color. Yes, and sweetness.
Okay.
But if you put too much, it'll make it crispy.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So y'all were listening somewhat. Pretty good. Make sure y'all keep an eye on your cookies. If you see it get dark around the edges, do not fear. Do not get upset. You want it to have some color. It's sugar in there and it's butter. So it's going to have color in it. Don't panic.
My cookies are turning white.
Yes, because why do you think your cookies are turning white? Tell me.
The eggs.
Oh, the egg white. So there's no color in there. So yes, but the edges may get crispy. I think my cookies are almost done. One more minute. My oven cooks kind of fast, so that's why I'm keeping an eye on it. Megan, you okay? You look like you're having a fit. Don't panic.
We got 4 giant cookies.
They're all they just all melted.
So you might have put too much of something. You might have put too much of egg white. So did you double the recipe when you were just doing a single recipe? Or
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Because like we had double of some stuff, and then the scale was broken, so then we had to undouble stuff and.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think we just made 4 big cookies.
Well, So what did Shania say? We practice. And we continue to practice. Right. Okay. So now you know that you can't that you have to make sure everything's measure. Yes, accurately. It has to be. That's what bacon is. Whew. Okay. So my oven cooks kind of fast. So I'm gonna see if this will work out. So I asked you, did you have a rolling pin? Because I was going to see, because while the cookie is, oh, you didn't see that. While the cookie is warm, I'm gonna take the cookie. You can wrap it. Oh, mine broke up. But you see how it curves?
It's like a cannoli.
Yes. And so if I had a smaller one, I would be able to wrap it where it's like, it looks like circles in the middle. You ever see those cookies where you could dip it in chocolate? That's these. Yes. So you see how mine are brown around the edges? And oh my God, this is such a good cookie. I hope you guys taste the cookie. I'm sorry, my thing. But yes. So, and what you do is you just let it do what it do until it cools down. But I don't know if you're going to be able to do it with your big cookie unless you wrap the big cookie around the rolling pin. So guys, it's like 7:58. I don't know. Did you guys, what do you think about this? Hard, fun, hard.
I had fun. It's just that I wish I measured it properly before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you taste it. It is amazing. Miss Jordan, are you checking your cookies? How they look?
They look.
Wow. 4 big cookies. That's a good cookie. So if you measure properly, I just want you to see my cookies, because sometimes I just leave them flat. So you see how, can you see the cookies? It's a very good cookie, and it's very thin. Like I said, make sure you spread them out well. All right, I'm done, Chess. It was nice meeting you all.
Nice meeting you.
Awesome. I feel like our scholars still have a few more minutes for their cookies.
Yeah.
But that was awesome. Thank you so much, Chef
Thank you so much.
Michelle. It's always a pleasure. Always fun watching our scholars make these cookies. Please definitely take pictures and share them once your cookies are done.
You don't want to see the cookies.
You hear that? Miss Rosie says she wants one. Absolutely. I know, right?
You can have one of my 4.
One too. I want some right now.
One of my 4.
I know. We want some. I'm
That's
but
crispy too.
on my own.
Pretty tough to cook.
They are
All
so
right, well,
good.
while you guys are wrapping up, I went ahead and I did leave the link for the evaluation for this session in the chat. So go ahead, click on that link, complete that evaluation survey for the course.
Yeah, I did that.
Thank you so much. It was really fun. Next time I'm gonna do your recipe and actually measure properly.
That's the key.
Practice makes perfect.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Had to learn the hard way. That was from the very beginning. Chef Michelle, she had a slide on that, the importance of measurements and following the recipe. But that's okay.
Even what I said in the beginning, and I didn't even do it.
You did, but it's okay. Because sometimes we have to do it again.
That's it. It's an excuse to try again. Right? And when you guys perfect that, make sure you take a picture and you share it. And we'll share those pictures with Chef Michelle so she can be proud of y'all.
Yes. Yes.
But it is 8:01, so go ahead, finish that survey or the evaluation for this session. And once you have completed the evaluation, you are free to log off. But thank you again so much, guys, for showing up, being here, being involved, interactive. We love it. And I'm glad that you guys were able to experience baking some cookies, some hands-on of our
guys, it was nice meeting y'all.
Thank you so much, Chef
Thank
Michelle.
you. Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.
Oh.
Complete the survey, and then you're free to log off.
Hold on. I confused. Nope, they are not. They're nowhere near done. Yeah. 5 minutes. Okay. Okay.
Why am I over here and over here?
Did you get a chance to taste them? Are your cookies done?
No.
They're not.
Okay.
They
They
look like
still look
omelet.
white.
How long did Chef Michelle say that they were going to take?
She said 10 minutes, but because ours were all combined together into the tray, I'm gonna give it 5 more minutes.
All right. I'm going to stop the recording because we are